Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film and sometimes TV, especially tonight. And I want to welcome my special guest critics for the evening. We've got Pete Ayala. Hey Pete, how's it going?
What's going on?
We've got Rachel Kolb. Rachel, hello.
Hi, happy to be back.
Eric Godfrey, good to have you back again, sir.
Hi, thanks again for having me.
And last but not least, Matt Roren. Hello.
Hello again.
Long time no see, Matt.
Yes, indeed.
So, guys, I just want to start off real quick. We got a big show. So, really quick, what are we watching this week? What are our pandemic picks, Pete?
I'm still halfway through his Dark Materials, and I'm kicking myself that it took me this long. Yeah, I think Matt and I talked about it a while back, or maybe it was Rachel, or it might have been both of you on that last show. So good. So good.
Sweet. I'm going to have to check that out. Eric, what are you watching?
Rewatching Clone Wars, get ready for the Bad Batch on May 4th.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Yeah, I personally have not gotten into the animated stuff, but I might have to.
Clone Wars is so good, and I cannot wait for the Bad Batch to come out.
Gotcha. And you're gearing up for May the 4th be with you?
Yep, perfect release date for it.
Awesome, awesome. Miss Kolb, what are you watching these days?
So I took a break from New Girl, and I have been watching Happy Endings, which has a lot of overlap as far as even the lead cast. And it's just wonderful. It's so
One of my favorite sitcoms of all time.
Nice.
Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a wonderful premise for a sitcom that it's like this group of friends having to deal with the fallout of a breakup, like, and not just a breakup, but like literally someone leaving their fiance at the altar.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's kind of like the opposite of if you ever saw the British show Gavin and Stacey, where it's all about these people that became friends that never would have ever met if not for this couple that, gets engaged.
Okay.
So it's and the cast is really fantastic and the writing is very funny.
What's the name of it?
That cast is so similar.
The name of it is Happy Endings.
Happy Endings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how can people see this this wonderful show?
It is on HBO Max. It was on I think Hulu for a while, but I think right now it's just on HBO Max.
Okay, cool. And speaking of HBO Max, I'm just rewatching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I can never get enough of Larry David.
I love like I do that binge every once in a while because it's like 10 seasons that you can literally watch in like 3 days. Yeah. It's like, it's so good.
It's pretty.
It's low hanging fruit. I know, but yeah,
it's just lighthearted. It's really smart. It's breezy. It's just a great watch. But yeah, I'm addicted. I love it.
And man, that last season was like not only was it great, but it was like early season great.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like oh man, like classic Curb is back.
Everything with Latte Larry and Mocha Girl, so amazing.
The Spite store.
Yeah.
All the different people doing their Spite stores.
Jonah Hill. Mila Kunis. Matt, what do you watch? I know you're always watch. You're up. What are you doing? The 80s, 90s sitcoms now, right?
Yeah, let's see. So I just did all of the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes.
It's been a hot minute since I've done that. I guess I haven't watched.
I'm sorry. Is somebody getting paid by HBO tonight? Is that happening? Are we getting paid?
No. I don't. Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. But
sorry, Matt. Sorry.
But yeah, I hadn't watched the extended. Actually, I haven't watched any of the movies since they initially came out as the extended editions on DVD. Yeah. Which was also, and now like remembering, like, oh yeah, I worked at Tower at the time. Those came out on VHS as well. That's so crazy. It's like we had it on VHS. But yeah, it was just like awesome. I'm so glad HBO Max finally put them up there. Mm-hmm. Speaking of HBO Max, so that was great. I can't even imagine like watching them the theatrical cuts.
Mhm.
I mean, I haven't seen those since the theater, but it's like what do you cut out of those? They're perfect. They're perfect.
Yeah.
So I watched those, and then I kicked back into my Disney 1991. I watched the Lucasfilm TV show season 2 of Maniac Mansion. Weird ass Canadian show. Eugene Levy
You mean a
created.
show out of Maniac Mansion?
Yeah, Eugene Levy
game?
created it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it was starring Joe Flaherty
Nice.
as the scientist. It's very, very, very loosely based on the video game.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, basically it's just a weird Canadian
I
sitcom.
would say it's very Canadian. Yes.
It's very Canadian. In fact, one of the episodes I just watched in season 2, they had Andrea Martin was playing a therapist, and she got a phone call, and it was her patient David Cronenberg, and it's like she's like, he's a great guy, but he's got a lot of problems. And then at the end, one of the characters on Maniac Mansion is a human fly, where he's a fly with a human head. He's their uncle.
What the hell? This show sounds amazing.
It's amazing and it's weird. I'll send you all the Google files because I have them all.
Yes, please.
Because you won't find it anywhere.
And
it was
now
on
you need to,
in the
and
90s.
then, yeah, find
What's
an
the,
intent.
what's the year on that? What year did it come out?
It was 1990 to 1993.
Interesting.
And then
Okay.
find a
And it
Nintendo
had, like,
emulator to play the original game.
Yeah, and like Martin Short was in an episode, and it's got a lot of the SCTV guys in it.
I love it.
But at the end of that episode, Cronenberg shows up at their house. The real David Cronenberg. And they're like, oh, and then the fly is like, oh, I love the fly. And he's like, oh, thanks. And he goes, but I like the fly 2 better. And he goes, oh, I didn't direct that one. And he was like, well, you should do a 3rd one. And he's like, oh, and he's like, but maybe this time you could get like a real fly to play. And he's like, oh, you mean like a fly with a human head? Yeah, it's a good idea.
All right, this is getting silly.
It's very silly because I mean, one of the main characters is the fly, and then also their 2-year-old son is a big dude. Like he grew into a giant man, but he's a 2-year-old kid.
Strange.
It's a very strange show. Eugene Levy, man.
I know he can do no wrong. And
it's definitely weird.
and that's awesome. But I think it's been a while since I've seen the first Fly, but I actually like the Fly 2 is pretty damn good too.
It is, but I mean, I don't know. Cronenberg's is just. I mean, Goldblum is so good.
He is.
I mean, you got Goldblum and Gina Davis. You can't go wrong with that pair.
But
I'm gonna talk about Gina Davis again.
Eric Stoltz and Daphne Zuniga, they did it. They held their own actually.
Yeah, they did, but
All right.
And then and then now I'm watching the spin-off of a spin-off, Nurses, the spin-off of Empty Nest, which was a spin-off of Golden Girls.
Wow.
So that, and of course it's got the crossover where Rose and whatever are on that show because it takes place in the same hospital as Empty Nest. So
Cool.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Nice, man. You're always busy on your TV. Always something good happening. But speaking of TV, so the 93rd Academy Awards were just a few nights ago, and I had the immense privilege and honor of being invited as press to the show. It was virtually, but still I was there. And it was a lot of fun. I got to ask 2 questions, one of which to the recipient of the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award, a company called the Motion Picture and Television Fund. And I also had the amazing opportunity to ask a question to the directors of My Octopus Teacher, which won Best Documentary Feature. So it was an amazing evening. I was in the press room all night waiting to get called on. Unfortunately, did not get to enjoy the actual telecast, and I believe none of you did either. Much of the world too did not actually watch the show, which is very sad. Most the viewership went down like I don't know the exact number, but it was just really appallingly low. And
I mean, it's
no one should be surprised.
Yeah,
it's everything's virtual still, so
I know.
Well, I mean, also on top of that, you're also dealing with the fact that this is the first Oscars in a long time that really nobody saw in theaters because
nobody saw movies.
Good point.
So while most of the movies were very accessible through various streaming stuff, it's like there was no Oscar. Like it's like, look, it's going to be an off year for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
and it's just like nobody should be worried about the ratings on a year like this.
Yeah, most people were tuning into like Instagram to check out people's red carpet looks. I mean,
yeah.
Well, and even then, you didn't have a traditional red carpet. You didn't have the traditional ceremony where you had like the big elaborate numbers for best song, or you didn't have the bigs. It was all scaled down, and then I think it was just like it was. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that people didn't tune in a regular fashion to view it.
They did a bunch of the musical numbers in the pre-show actually, along with the red carpet footage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very awkward year for award shows, obviously. But I'm curious, guys, what did you think of the winners? We had some really fantastic films last year. Were you guys surprised at the wins? Were you disappointed? Were there some snubs that you want to address now? Pete, I'm curious. What was your take?
Good. I'll be quick. I was just super duper happy to, as I said before, to see Soul kind of clean up a little bit. That was awesome. I don't think that movie got the kind of as much credit as it got. I still don't think it got enough credit. I just think it was a fantastic film, and it was just really cool to see John Baptiste and Trent Reznor, the teaming up that I never knew I wanted. Just kill it with a killer soundtrack. So it was a smashing of a bunch of different worlds together. I'm a huge Tina Fey stan. And I just love what Disney has been doing one film after the other to just make me more of a crying, blubbering mess at cartoons. Coco did it for me. That reminded me of my abuela, and then Soul took it to a whole different level. So I was just happy to see that. But I'm pumped. I haven't had the chance to see Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I can't wait to see that. And
it's so good.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, it's like, you're the 10,000th person to tell me how great it was. So I can't wait to watch it. It's just my wife and I we want to watch that. Nomadland. There's a couple just listed up that we want to see. So
I mean,
on the way to get.
So Chadwick Boseman, he passed away obviously, but he gave one of the best performances of his short career. However, he was beaten by Anthony Hopkins, who gave a phenomenal performance.
Super humble.
Such a great film, one of my favorites of the year, and but Ma Rainey, it won best costume and makeup, and deservedly so. It just transported you back to that time period, which it accomplished its job.
Yeah, there's a really excellent special feature on Netflix about the costuming of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom that I highly recommend watching.
Okay.
Just the level of detail and attention that they took to make it accurate and to make every single extra, especially in that opening scene at the concert, to make them all very accurate and all very distinct.
Yeah, even the props and the sets looked like they were straight out of that room. So that was really well done. And Rachel, I wanted to go to you, and I know you must be thrilled about Emerald Fennell's win for most promising young woman.
Yes.
I thought of you when I heard that win, and I was really excited. So.
Yes, I'm so very happy for her, and I'm so excited to see what she's gonna do next, with this being her first movie. And just sky's the limit.
And I'm glad that movie didn't get snubbed. I was like, I was expecting it to just get totally like snubbed, and when I heard that, I was like, good, like it's the way it should be. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
under a lot of people's radar. It's not quite there yet, but I think
Yeah.
it won the Oscar for best original screenplay. I think it'll get more attention now,
Yeah.
hopefully. Eric, what were your takeaways? What did you think of the film?
I think it was overall it was a very good Oscars, and I think one of the reasons why people probably didn't tune in was, one, there wasn't the dominant movie. Like the closest you probably got was Nomadland, but no single movie really was like winning every award. Like, you get, like last year Parasite, took everything,
Right,
and then was the little underdog and so shockingly won Best Picture, and so you didn't really have that. You didn't, and so. What was nice was because you saw so many people who usually don't get recognized by the Academy getting recognized, and you saw a lot of people who, and so you really did feel this year that there was a different Academy voter base that was really letting movies that don't normally get the spotlight shine. And it sucks that unfortunately that's kind of going to get overshadowed by Chadwick not winning, and then them making the really foolish decision to end on Best Actor, thinking, because it was clear they thought Boseman was going to be the winner.
Yeah.
And then that kind of blew up in their faces. And now I was reading today that even worse, that Hopkins was willing to give a speech. They just didn't want to have him zoom in. And so that's why there was that weird, like, and Hopkins, and that's the show.
Yeah, it was a very lopsided, awkward show. But I highlight the films, like those are Best Picture. Nomadland won, obviously, but you've also got Sound of Metal.
I expected it. Yeah.
But I'm going off the list. Sound of Metal, Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, The Trial of the Chicago 7. These are
very happy to see Kahlua win.
Incredible year.
All movies, like I was totally invested. Like I was
everything got recognition. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
I think this is the first year I loved every single movie that was nominated.
Yep.
And
I don't think that's ever happened before.
The only snub
like
that I'm
one
going
or two that I was like mad about this year.
Yeah, and the only snub that I'm going to talk about is, and I still don't know if I would have preferred to at least seen him nominated, was Delroy Lindo for The Five Bloods.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have beaten Kahlua in my book and in my vote, but he deserved to be at least.
I would have thought
considered.
I thought he might have been lead actor.
Maybe that's a tough one. That's
because
I mean with
ensemble cast that it's like, who was the lead actor in that?
Like, especially if we're talking between Judas and the Black Messiah, that Kahlua and Stenfield.
I thought Heath was the lead actor in that, but apparently he's not. I don't know. Pete, did you catch many of the Best Picture nominees?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just listening. No, to be honest, I really haven't. The one that I forgot completely about, though, is Mank. Like, I can't wait to go back to that, because all I could think of is the last couple of films. There's Oldman, right? Like the last couple of films he's done where you just lose him. Like, and again, we've talked about The Crown so many times, right? Like seeing him do Churchill versus Lithgow doing on the show.
Right.
It's completely two different kinds of takes. But Oldman is always Oldman. Like, even though you lose him in those roles, he still he does the same thing. He just blows you away every single time. Like, no matter what it is, it's like you lose the fact of losing him because he's so good that you always recognize him. Is that weird to say? You know what I mean? Like, I was watching, I pulled up Dracula the other day because I was just thinking about him, and I was just like, I just got to see the opening scene because he's phenomenal in it. You know, when he's at old Greek and or Romanian or whatever he's speaking, and he's just, you could feel the drama even though you can't understand a friggin' word he's saying. And I said it's the same thing. Like, you lose him in Dracula, and then it's so good that you don't. You know, like it's weird to say. You totally lose him, and then you're just like, again, like Gary Oldman. You're never like, oh shoot, that was Gary Oldman. Like,
with Oldman, I think the closest you're going to get to like the real Oldman is probably Commissioner Gordon. But then again, I'm thinking back to
Professional.
Leon the Professional. He played the villain. That's kind of like close to real Oldman as well. But it's hard to tell because he, like you said, he totally loses himself in the role. every
Yeah,
film.
so I can't wait.
I
to
would-
see.
I would put Sirius Black in there as another one where you get to see more of that kind of Oldman. So
I like how he kind of breaks out the old Dracula wig for Sirius Black when he has the long hair. But yeah, that's the one I would say. Then it's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. But I think I'm more excited to watch Mank just because I enjoy his work as as just one actor killing it. You know what I mean? Like I just can't wait to see how he's going to murder this one. So.
Like I've mentioned before, Mank was definitely my favorite film of the year, just because it totally I mean, I wasn't around in the 30s in Hollywood, but I'm pretty sure that's I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to how it looked. And the production designers, I think the cinematographers both won in those categories. So job well done for them.
Yeah.
Matt, what did you take away from the show?
Well, I mean, my favorite performance of the year got recognized. Of course, was Yoon Yeon Jung, the grandmother from Minari.
Yep.
It was one of those things where it's like I would have loved to see Maria Bakalova win for Borat just because, but like, I mean, she deserved this win.
She was so funny, so good in that. She was
so funny, so good. I just completely love the role. So I was happy to see that. Even like it's like Olivia Colman, like it's like, yeah, I'd like to see her win it also, but I'm glad they gave it to like a really old, I don't know how old she is, but an old Korean woman. I don't think she's really old, but it's like
and you know what? She was so cute when she was answering questions. Because she's got this very thick accent and she doesn't really speak English well, but she was so cute and so humble. It was really nice to see that. So I'm really glad that she won as well. And great film, by the way. Minari was fantastic.
Yeah, and then for Nomadland, we had our first director of a Marvel film winning an Oscar. She's going to be directing the Eternals. Okay. So that's going to be awesome. But I was actually surprised when they were like the first to win, and I was like, I can't believe Kenneth Branagh never won an Oscar. Dude was nominated like 6 times, never won. Yeah, because I'm like, he did 4. I'm like, didn't he win? It's like, no, he never did.
Well, I think he should have been nominated for Cinderella. His team.
Oh my God, yeah, seriously. I couldn't believe how good that was.
That's probably my favorite of the modern live action retellings.
Oh, and it's that one was the one that set them all off. He did that, and then it was like, let's make a live action everything.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that's really worth watching.
Yeah.
like the others are.
But I will say once again, Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon is so good.
I gotta
underappreciated.
I got a dragon. I thought
I saw a dragon. Yep.
Oh, guys, also I wanted to mention best international feature film, Another Round, which it starred Mads Mikkelsen and a group of other guys from Denmark, I believe.
I've heard nothing but good things. And I want to see a happy drunk Mads Mikkelsen.
It's so good.
Yeah.
They basically they're experimenting with alcohol. Basically, they need to maintain a certain level, a percentage of alcohol in their bodies throughout the whole day for like cognitive functioning. And it's a very interesting story. It won Best International Feature. I highly recommend that. If you're a Mads Mikkelsen fan, you'll love this one.
It's funny because I watched it and I enjoyed it. And then when I read that it won, I was like, oh, wow. This is the first time I didn't see the international feature, because usually it's like see him every year. And then I read the description, like, oh wait, I did see that movie.
Well, and weirdly enough,
what is that?
Yeah, and weirdly enough, today they announced that DiCaprio is going to be remaking the American version and starring in it. So we'll have to see how that one goes.
Why?
Yeah.
DiCaprio wants to drink now that he's won his Oscar.
Do we know who else is in that cast?
I don't think it just all I read was that it was DiCaprio's production company that he would be starring it. Yeah, let's just say.
I will gladly see that movie. I'm looking forward to that. let's see here. Oh, Tenet won Best Visual Effects.
Saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah, pretty good. But there was a lot of practical effects too in that, and they filmed it in a very bizarre way. Like they filmed it backwards to make it look backwards. It's a crazy movie, very ambitious from Christopher Nolan.
Ambitious for him, which is what?
Just the norm. And Sound of Metal won Best Sound, which I kind of wish it won a few more statues that night. Fantastic film. Fantastic. Matt, I remember we reviewed that along with Mank. That was a good show, my friend.
It was what a show.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I love the awards. From what I did see of the ceremony, I know Steven Soderbergh produced or directed it, so it had like sort of a cinema feel in the beginning.
Did he shoot it all on an iPhone?
Yeah, yeah. It was.
Isn't that his thing? Just shooting things on iPhone?
And we can only hope that he was secretly filming Ocean's 9 in the midst of this award show.
Multitasking, I love it.
I didn't see Cate Blanchett or Anne Hathaway, so they could have been stealing some statues. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a weird setting for the ceremony. Union Station, downtown Los Angeles. But yeah, it was weird. But it's really about the award, the winners, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me feel. It kind of feels like the early days of Oscar, where it was just they just handed.
It's less hype and actually about the movies.
Yeah.
And I think with the selection of movies, like it's literally like wow, like every movie that was nominated was so good because Hollywood couldn't afford to put out a bunch of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pandemic, so they couldn't put out all these garbage fucking movies that are supposed to win awards. So we won. We
did. Art wins finally.
I know, right?
I don't care about Halle Berry's shoes and her dress, but yeah, I loved it. I love all the movies that were in the Best Picture category, and congratulations to all the winners. You all deserved it, and it was just a great show. And I look forward to seeing it next year. All right, guys, so let's take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with our recap of Falcon and the Winter Yeah, you call me the Falcon and the Winter Soldier recap coming at you right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6633.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Rain Younger, Under the Radar, and we're about to get into the second portion of our show. We're going to be doing a recap of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, now streaming on Disney Plus. It is they market it as a superhero show, but I think it's a spy thriller through and through. We've got the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, also known as his character Sam Wilson, who reluctantly joins forces with Sebastian Stan's character, Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, aka White Wolf, and basically they go on an adventure together, kind of a globe-trotting adventure to thwart a revolutionaries, quote-unquote, terrorist attacks in various locations. This is on Disney Plus now. It continues the Marvel Cinematic Universe as it's their second miniseries. First one was Wanda Vision, which we all reviewed just a few weeks ago. So this is the second miniseries, and it is wonderful. I don't consider it a superhero series. It is more of a spy thriller. It's very gritty. It feels like an extension of Captain America's Civil War, the Winter Soldier. Thank you. And it's dark, it's gritty, it's funny, it's action-packed, it's very expensive looking, and it is just a fun time. So if you guys have Disney Plus at home, I would highly recommend this. But first, check out the three Captain America films and the Avengers films too, so you can get a little caught up. Eric, I could see you're ready with your shield.
I was ready to pick up the shield when Sam put it down.
Yeah. I would watch you as Captain America. That'd be a lot of fun. But guys, so since it's sort of still kind of new, let's try to avoid spoilers because there's some people out there who probably haven't seen it yet. But Eric, what did you think of this show?
I'm a huge, Captain America is my guy. When I got back into comic books, Cap was the person that got me back into it. I was obsessed with the Brubaker run of Captain America, which introduced the Winter Soldier, which introduced that entire, the whole spy thriller vibe that was adapted into the movies. That's all Brubaker. So seeing all that come to life in the movies and now perfectly transitioned into a TV show was fantastic. And the show actually did something that even the comics never really convinced me of, and that's of Sam being a worthy successor as Captain America, because I've always been Bucky as the second Cap. That's always been my favorite iteration. And so this show actually convinced me, you know what? Sam's going to make a good one. And so I will definitely, as far as the show goes, it did a lot of heavy lifting in terms of introducing a lot of John Walker with Zemo, with, and a lot of characters. And so it did, and even the Bradleys, the fact that now Isaiah and Eli are here and introduced in their storylines and showing just the awfulness that is involved with the Bradley storyline. So it did a lot, and I really enjoyed it. I really am glad that it just is continuing the pathos of Captain America and taking all the best parts from comics.
And I know that you're a huge fan of the Brubaker comics. Did this show kind of feel like it was ripped right off the page?
Oh, absolutely. And especially so with Bucky. Now, even though Brubaker wasn't the one who introduced Sam as the Falcon, that was Rick Remender. But everything involving just that international espionage, especially because Zemo also was a villain during the Brubaker run. And so as far as all that goes, that is everything that I loved about that spy thriller, that neo-noir tone that Brubaker was so good at establishing in the books.
That's awesome. And I hope to borrow your collection at some point.
Absolutely.
Part of it anyway. Pete, what did you think of the show?
I'm gonna step out of the comic stuff because I'm outweighed heavily by Eric and Matt. So I'm gonna stick to the actual script. I mean, although I do love the idea of Ramos coming back to be the Falcon now that we have a new Cap. I will say that. And, maybe that's just the Hispanic in Randy and I, that we like to see our people get, shown a little bit more in the comics and things like that. So I'm kind of pumped about that. But just Wyatt Russell, man. Oh, man. Shut your mouth if he's not the best actor on this show. Shut your mouth. I love Lodge 49. I love so many things I've seen him in. Even when he was in the Jump Street movie, I love this. I really do, because I feel like he can just do anything. And then when I see him, go ahead, Randy. Go ahead.
He was the frat guy?
Everybody wants some. Yeah, he was amazing in that.
Okay.
Yeah. No. He's you're thinking in Jump Street is the football player.
Yeah, in the second Jump Street in 22,
the guy
he was
that Jonah Hill befriends, and he's like, I don't
know.
know.
Channing becomes his best friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Channing's turn to now be the popular jock type or whatever in that second movie, and he's great. But as soon as it was another one of those things. It's like you ever look back at certain castings and you were like, I got that completely wrong. Where you saw the person show up, like a lot of people did that with Heath Ledger's Joker. Obviously, they saw me like Heath Ledger, and they were like, he's the best Joker ever. Like, shut up, you right? Like, you didn't know that from the start. Well, you didn't know that with Wyatt Russell. I looked at him and I said, man, really? I don't see it. And then that, you could see that kind of ambition, boiling under the skin the whole time. And the idea that he was never ever going to turn down, being Cap and things like that, which is not a spoiler. He doesn't turn down something else, that would be a spoiler, but I can keep my mouth shut. But everything he does, that transition, if you know anything about the US agent character, the transition into being like this person that you think you're doing the right things and by any means necessary is not right. I just thought he was amazing. I'm so pumped that he's not off, like he's not a one and done type character, and that we'll see him again. But on the flip side, Erin Kellyman, she was fantastic, and I'm not gonna. I just almost gave up something there. But anyway, she's fantastic. She's a revelation. I thought she was great for this particular role, and I would love to see her, if it's possible, for her to come back in some sort of iteration later on, because I think there was just a lot to unpack there. And another thing I was just going to say is with the news of maybe some of the Netflix characters coming back, this was very reminiscent of Netflix's take on the Marvel shows by, kind of getting away and getting grittier and getting back to that Winter Soldier feel. Civil War was a little too much Avengers 2.5, so this kind of brought you back down there. So great all around, and I can't wait to hear what the rest of this is.
Now, WandaVision was obviously very different in tone and style, which I liked, but I think I kind of like this one more. I think this is a natural extension of the MCU. And it feels like a movie, and I love that.
I loved how it really did feel like it was like this is as much quality as you would get from a fucking movie, and just knowing that this is what we're gonna continue to get from Marvel on TV. My mind is like She-Hulk's gonna be like this.
Yeah.
Moon Knight is gonna be like this.
Loki.
Loki. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, and I think what benefited this one as opposed to WandaVision is this one already had the template laid out from the three Captain America movies. So the fact that the show opens with this massive fight scene between Batroc and the Falcon as he's flying away through all the different helicopters. It's letting you know, it's like, just because it's a TV show, we still know that when it comes to action sequences, Captain America usually has some of the best action in all of the MCU, and that's not going to stop.
Yeah.
Also, the whole thing with WandaVision was it was based off of sitcoms and television. So it was definitely a different in feel. It got more theatrical as the show went on, and it's gonna flow very well, I'm sure, into Doctor Strange, and so it's just like a different feel. But that's what I love about all the Marvel films, is that regardless of they're each their own genre. And regardless of that, once they got together in the Avengers, it was it fit perfectly. Look at Ant-Man. Ant-Man's a heist film. And both of them, they're just fun heist romps. And you have the fact that Thor and Iron Man and Captain America, they're three completely different movies. Style, genre, Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man. I mean, they're all so different. But when you put them all into the Avengers, it's so solid.
Now,
it just works.
What I also love, and what I also think works, is on Disney Plus, they have all the Marvel movies. So you have two options. You can watch them by phase 1 through 4, or you can watch them chronologically. I still don't know what's the best way to watch them. How about you guys? What do you think?
I think in the phases.
Rachel.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, Rachel.
Sorry.
I'm not sure what I would say is the best way to watch them. My viewing habits with them tend to be all over the board. I tend to just kind of watch whatever. Since I've seen all of them before, I tend to watch whichever one is going to make me feel the best, which usually is the Guardians movies, usually Ant-Man. Definitely Thor Ragnarok. That one's gotten quite a few rewatches.
I'm glad we're finally gonna get the Spider-Man movies onto Disney Plus sometime soon.
We're getting
Tony, so
you mean is it just the Holland films or like are we getting
Just the Holland films, yeah.
So all the Sony films are going to be available, including Venom and whatever horse shit they put out that Feige hasn't touched.
Well,
and sort of side note, what's happening with Morbius? How's that being released?
As far as where it's still just coming out, and I don't know if it's getting to the streaming one, but it's still coming out.
Yeah, it'll just probably pop up in a theater and then disappear. Yeah. You can fucking buy it or whatever, but it won't be on Disney Plus immediately. It'll go to Netflix first.
Right, and that's kind of
their deal.
It's in that weird vein of Venom, right? Like,
yeah, it's not really Marvel. It's not MCU. It's Sony garbage.
Yeah, okay.
And it stars the worst actor in the world, Jared Leto.
I hear you, but I found a weird, stupid enjoyment out of Venom because Tom Hardy was bringing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, some moments like the scene in the convenience store.
Like that, I have to hear Tom Hardy talking to himself while he's in a lobster tank. While he's like, "I'm kind of a loser, like you."
It's like, I wish they just gave it a different name and didn't have to, because it's like to just change everything about Venom and then to like make it where like Venom is the hero against other Venoms coming from space.
I don't disagree, but I still enjoyed it.
The movie is much more enjoyable if you think of it as Hardy basically channeling David Hasselhoff doing the Dr. and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde musical. If you've ever
I'll have
seen
to watch it.
Oh, the music.
I only saw it in the theater, and I saw it like opening day in the theater, and was like, oh, it's basically exactly how I felt seeing Batman vs Superman in the theater and seeing Suicide Squad in the theater, where it's just like, I hate my life.
Which see, that's where I disagree.
Venom is shorter though than both of those movies, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's shorter than
at least there was no point where I looked at my phone and went, oh good, it's almost over. Oh no, there's still an hour and a half left.
Because Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, I was just miserable. It was so just whatever. Venom was just so. I was so stupid and so much fun. Everyone was
in the minority here. I like Suicide Squad. I thought it was pretty fun. I loved all the characters. They were all.
I think if you took the Harley Quinn stuff and like some of the Will Smith stuff and you took everyone else out of that movie, it would have been like watchable.
Which is basically what James Gunn's doing.
Yeah.
I did want to get us back on track.
Yeah, as we get, we're
to get us back on track, and
Yeah.
two, because I want to segue really into what Rachel thought about this. I forgot to bring this up, Rachel, and I thought you would appreciate this, and not because of your gender, just because I thought you would appreciate it. But Carrie Scoggin killing it in direction here, like talk about picking up, where the Russos leave off, but also putting your very distinct fingerprint on this and saying this is not. And I get, Randy, when you say it with the best intentions, you say this feels almost like a seamless, moving on from Winter Soldier. It does, and then it completely becomes its own thing.
Yeah.
So please, Rachel.
Yeah. I was gonna say that some of the moments that I love the most from the new show, as great as the action sequences were, I loved so many of the downtimes that we had with them hanging on the boat, fixing up the boat. Of course, like Bucky and his mechanical arm, and just like that whole sequence I thought was amazing.
The one crazy summer, like fixing a boat montage.
Yeah.
Like
Like
people
having a
were complaining about it on the internet. I'm like, no, we needed that montage.
Yeah, the quiet moments were the best.
Yeah,
The stuff
or
on the boat.
the sequence with him training with the shield. I mean, that was
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that was so good.
Which I did think it was funny because initially he was better with it than when he started training with it. Like it was just like practicing a little bit.
All they were doing was basically just playing frisbee throw. It was afterwards he actually had to be, okay, I got to start training so I can do this. Actually throwing it at people rather than just doing like baseball throws between him and Bucky.
In the off season, he's going to join a Frolfing league.
Nice.
Also, I wanted to mention real quick because I know that Emily Van Camp got mentioned earlier for Sharon. I wanted to give a shout out because I doubt that any of you have ever watched the show except for Eric, who has seen a few
It's true.
episodes thanks to me. But
Are you talking about Revenge Girl?
Revenge!
Yeah.
Uh,
Revenge!
I watched from episode 1 all the way through the end, girl. I loved it.
Yay!
One of my all-time favorites. Oh, so
Adding it to
good.
the list. Adding that to my list.
Yeah. So basically, for those uninitiated into it, I would say it's like if Gossip Girl meets Kill Bill. Literally, it's a thing that her life was ruined by this rich family. She goes off to Japan and trains to become like this master of fighting and manipulation, everything, and
A master of everything.
and goes with the sole intention of destroying this family, and like on every
In like the nicest and most subtle ways, but also terribly.
yeah.
That was like one of those shows where like I looked so forward to it every week because it just like I got so much pleasure from watching that show. It's just like, this is so good.
But you know what? With me, with Emily Van Camp, I mean, maybe it's just her character of Agent Carter. She seemed kind of smug to me and unlikable. Am I wrong in saying that, guys?
Might have been a tease for the way Sharon goes in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's trying to be, a departure from her, her very famous grandmother, or is it grandaunt?
Yeah. And to be fair, in this one, Sharon got screwed over pretty. Like everyone's like, "Hey, everyone got a pardon. What about me? you left me off in this little sinkhole over here."
That she's like, I'm kind of irritated, and I have every right to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Also,
yet we're still, and yet we're still having the conversation that she's kind of unlikable. It's like, doesn't she deserve to be? Doesn't she deserve to be everything that she is at this point? So,
because I also love the fact that it's like between Wanda Vision and this, they have just been shoving all kinds of crazy MCU, like Wanda Vision. We got Photon, we got Jimmy Woo back in there, we got Agatha Harkness and all the Darkhold, and basically an entire new thing. And then this one, we get Madripoor. It's like when they drop, it's like, you're just gonna throw Madripoor out.
I know.
Like
are we going to talk about the amazing surprise casting of the show? Are we gonna talk about it?
No.
Oh, no spoilers.
No.
I know who you're thinking of.
I know.
Yeah.
But she's just dropped.
We gotta stop.
It's a spoiler. I'm not gonna do it. Let's not do it.
Well, not only is it a spoiler, but no, you really got to think about it from this point. Like, it'll be better to come back to whatever we're talking about right now after Black Widow drops.
Yep. Agree.
And
But
I don't know if anyone caught the little.
I was so hoping. I was so hoping to at least even in the background see Pat. Like, you're an Madripoor, you got to have Patch.
I know there's a lot of people talking. It's like, so now this is like between WandaVision and Falcon. That's 2 times we've gotten X-Men teases.
Yeah.
And it's like,
all right. And you know what? When we're okay, so I also want to mention a really great performance from Daniel Bruhl, or is it Bruhl?
Oh my God!
Zemo always steals the show.
Finally got to see Zemo be full Zemo.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I want Thunderbolt so badly.
He's a great villain now, sort of an anti-hero.
You really started to see, as Matt was talking about, the Thunderbolts, the Zemo, like not just with the mask, but just the notion of that he is this great anti-hero who is always out for his own self-interest. And I like that we started to see, we saw the conspirator in Civil War, basically the guy who could, unravel the Avengers with just a videotape. And this one, we started to see, the richness of him, the actual barren side of him, but also just like, this is a man with a mission. And there's a reason why Cap, Bucky, all of them, whenever Zemo's involved, he's always one of the most dangerous nemesis that they come across. And you started to see that, like, basically all I was missing was just him with his sword.
Yeah.
Dude, didn't you feel the Illuminati coming? Like,
yeah.
I know. I don't want to get too deep into it.
I want Thunderbolts now. I'm with it.
When
I want
you said
Thunderbolts.
I was like, I need
it. About is Illuminati. Yeah.
Like I was waiting for like just some like something to give me a Thunderbolts. Which, granted, I mean we still could. There's the possibility is always open, but that's exactly what I want. Is that
I think this timing with Widow in this show,
I agree. Yeah,
kind of screwed everything up big time.
it makes me wonder what reveals were going to be planned for Widow that they've had to hold off on.
Yeah.
Well, there's already one thing that's the one not surprise that's in the movie and in the show, which was supposed to be revealed in Black Widow, but instead got awkwardly revealed in this show.
He's
I
gonna
don't know if I know that one.
It is a certain female character.
Got it. Okay. So she was originally supposed to be revealed to Black Widow.
But the reveal was supposed to be in Black Widow.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay. But yeah, great show. Helmut Zemo, very great villain, question mark. Kind of like low-key, very ambiguous. I love that. So
when they only they're going for their own their own means, it's like they're not like super like evil, but they're just like
and that goes with the spy thriller vibe that you talked about, that we're not really dealing with straight up antagonists. Everyone has their own agenda, and it's not that everyone doesn't have a point, from Flag Smasher to Zemo to Sam to even Walker. Everybody has something that they're trying to accomplish, and it's and what I appreciate, and kind of going off what Peter said about Civil War being Avengers 2.0, the reason I like that is because Cap, to me, always works best when he's held up as the pinnacle of what we're trying to do. So he plays so well off everyone else because he's the guy who's always trying to do the right thing. And at the core of this show is the question of, how do you follow Steve Rogers? How do you follow the perfect human being? And the fact that everyone is trying to answer that question, and everyone's trying to ask, how do you become Steve Rogers too? And
damn, Eric just pulled off how they can get away from who's the next Tony Stark. It's over.
Yeah.
No one cares anymore. Now it's about who gets to be the next. It's just funny.
Who will wield the shield?
Yep.
Yeah. It's always about like, what do we do now that Tony's gone? Because Cap's not actually gone. Living on the moon.
Living on the moon, exactly. Yeah.
So, but Tony's gone, and now that's kind of like that conversation until maybe Iron Wars or even Black Widow or whatever.
Well, Ironheart.
And Ironheart, Riri's coming.
Ironheart as well. Yeah. Armor Wars. I mean, I put Ironheart and Armor Wars together.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I love legacy characters, the comics. Legacy characters are always my favorite. Here, like, one thing that always makes me sad is one of the best Batman runs ever was when Dick Grayson had to become Batman. And
oh my God.
It was because Bruce was gone. And it was one of those things where it's like, I was reading that, I'm like, I don't know if I want Bruce to ever come back.
I know. And it was the same exact time that was that and Cap. They both died at the exact same time.
And Bucky took over as Captain America.
And I was like, these are like Batman is on like the relationship between him and Damian. Like, I loved reading that. Like,
and
like all-time favorite Batman run.
And now that we're getting Jane taking over for Thor, like these are I am so happy we've weirdly somehow finally reached the legacy characters.
Right.
And even if it's Riri for Iron Man, or even now that Cheadle's going to be highlighting with or headlining Armor Wars, so maybe more War Machine gets some more love there. And so I like that we're finally getting to see these side characters really step up and really take the lessons from their lead people and become their own heroes because of that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 phases of characters, which is an amazing run.
And you know what, guys? I also want to credit the great writing team: Malcolm Spellman, Michael Castleline, Joseph Sawyer, and Derek Kolstad, along with director Carrie Scotland, as you mentioned, Pete. Wonderful creative team behind the show. Sorry to cut you guys off, but we only have like a minute or so left. But yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is now streaming on Disney Plus. It's amazing. Go check it out if you haven't already. I just want to do some quick coming attractions. Coming out this week, we've got the action thriller Wrath of Man, directed by Guy Ritchie. We also have a dramedy called Mainstream. Andrew Garfield, Nat Wolff, Jason Schwartzman, Maya Hawke star. This one caught my attention today, actually. It's a comedy called Here Today. and it stars Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish. Very strange. Also, Sharon Stone is in it, Kevin Kline, Barry Levinson, and Alex Brightman. Rachel, I'm sure you know that name. Also, The
A
Unthinkable.
sneaky good cast. That is
Yeah.
a sneaky good cast.
I know, right? I'm checking that out. The Unthinkable, an action romance sci-fi from Sweden. The Waterman, an adventure drama family film, directed by and starring David Oyelowo. Probably butchered that. And let's see what else we've got. The Paper Tigers, an action comedy about 3 kung fu prodigies. Also, guys, I wanted to mention starting April 29th and going through to May 5th is the Real Abilities Film Festival, which is in New York. It is the largest festival in the country dedicated to promoting awareness and appreciation of lives, stories, and artistic expressions of disabled people. The film festival will feature films such as Best Summer Ever, Ahead of the Curvy, Not Going Quietly, and other world premieres and special events. So if you're curious, want more information, purchase tickets, just go to realabilities.org/New York, and real is REEL. So realabilities.org/New York. Guys, before we say goodnight, do we have any plugs? What's going on? Pete, anything?
Yep, as always, Island Collectibles in Staten Island for all your movie memorabilia and framing needs, and support public education.
Sweet. Eric, sir?
I'm not really doing anything too exciting.
Okay. Just
Nothing as exciting as that.
keep being awesome. Rachel?
You can follow Dobby the House Doggo on Instagram. Also, exciting thing, I'm going to be a guest speaker. I'm going to be one of the student guest speakers introducing L. Simone Scott of America's Test Kitchen and The Chew, among others. She is going to be speaking for my school, at my school this week, and I'm going to be doing kind of the intro talk for it. And hopefully I believe it's going to be filmed and put up on YouTube, and I will put more information in the show notes.
Sounds good. Cool. That's very cool. And Mr. Roren?
I have a store. It's called Pickle Island. You should go. We've got pickles. We've got local jams and jellies. We have CDs, DVDs, VHS tapes, Blu-rays, and comic books. You can play Miss Pac-Man. It's free to play Miss Pac-Man. It's in Bayville, New York. 12 Ludlam Avenue. Go for it.
And then we flash the number on the screen.
Yeah. Just really fast so nobody could write it down. Just keep it and watch
Press the button and subscribe.
Oh my God, I can't wait to go. I need to go. And always, you can catch new episodes of Under the Radar on Manhattan Neighborhood Network Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, check out the YouTube channel where you can subscribe and share. So spread the word, guys, and you'll get a free pickle. So Pete, Eric, Rachel, Matt, thank you so much. This was great as always. And I look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Randy Unger, Under the Radar. See you next time.